Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of On the Paint Table. This is my weekly show where you see what I got done, what I'm working on, and what is coming up. So this week I finished off a couple more Batman miniatures and some Kings of War Vanguard stuff, and had a whole bunch more stuff pile up on the table needing to get painted. So let's take a look at what done. I got about 9 miniatures painted this week, so not too many, and then what's coming up. First things first, here are my Blackgate prisoners. Basically any bad guy player in Batman should probably own these guys. They're some pretty great just like random minions, and because their affiliation is unknown, but they're just rivals to Batman and the good guys, you can play with almost anybody. This guy right here, especially the high security prisoner, he's a bad dude. He's 8 endurance and 40 rep. He's probably the best bang for your buck henchman, I would say, probably the bad guys can get. That's not like tied uniquely to somebody. Also, machine gun, a handgun, and a boxer. These are all based on the Arkham Asylum video game. If you've ever played it, the sculpts and designs are all kind of based on the baddies the Joker lets loose from Blackgate Prison that are running around Arkham Asylum and that Batman beats up constantly. And they're lovely sculpts. They're fun to paint. I did contrast paints for all the oranges, whites, and skins, and then just went back and highlighted them all afterwards. The cobblestones are all like actually built into the bases. So when you buy the night models now, they come with those cobblestone bases, and I just covered up where the base tab's going with some grit, and then they are charred on granite and blended up to, oh geez, some kind of like light blue gray for the stones, and then dry brushed through, I believe it's Baneblade brown up to like a Ushabti skull kind of thing for the rest of them. And there it is. So there's my next installment for my Joker gang slash, I guess my Bane gang soon, because I'm going to start working on Bane. And here's the rest of the Undead starter set and support box for Kings of War Vanguard. Pretty stoked. I've played 4 games of the Ice and Iron campaign now. We're pretty deep into it, and I gotta say the Wraith, the Barrow White, and the Halfling Vampire. Yeah, I painted a Halfling Vampire. There's some words I never thought I was gonna say. That's Lord Gilbert right there. He's something. He's a tiny vampire. You don't get a full-size vampire, but you can have half a vampire basically. In whatchamacallit, in Kings of War Vanguard. They added a lot of punch to my force. Rashra's there. I don't know if I actually showed him off, so I just showed him off today. He's my necromancer, and he's like a lizard man necromancer, which is pretty cool. So him, my Crypt Gouger. That's Gunter right there. He digs up graves and zombies and parts. And then we got a Wraith and the Barrow White. The Barrow White's awesome, actually. They're both support pieces. Gunter, Rashraz, the Lizardman Necromancer, and the Halfling Vampire Lord Gilbert are all character models. So basically I have to take a bunch of skeletons and zombies and stuff to unlock them. But for each character I can have one support piece, which means the Wraith and the Barrow White come in like that. Because my Warriors and Grunts aren't very good, but my support pieces are amazing. So that's what I got done. 9 miniatures. This is not a slow week, but like painting for what I'm playing. I'm playing, as you're watching this, I'm recording some Batman with Ben, which you'll see next week, and some Kings of War Vanguard, which will be ongoing, because you've already seen the first episode. And here's the working on pile. So yeah, first things first, next week I start work on Human Interface, the Cyberpunk game. I'm pretty jazzed. It's a single player, 1 to 5, basically. 5 plays the bad guys. A bit like Blackstone Fortress. Cyberpunk style game. It comes with an absolutely bananas pile of models. I have the Kickstarter edition too, so I actually have the Kickstarter figures, which I'm just not going to show right now because there's a white box. It's not as interesting. You get a bananas amount of models. You get like these 5 Cyberpunk heroes. There's like a big modified super soldier dude in the middle there. And then various hackers, shooters, stealthers, infiltrators, all of your tropes from Cyberpunk. And then tons of baddies, everything from sort of like chappy bots to security agents to some little like metalhead style Black Mirror sentry little like walkie guns. And then you get this nice hard card terrain set too, with like doors and all that fun jazz. So because it's single player, I'm gonna give it a go myself and then start roping people into trying it out with me. But I'm pretty jazzed. It's a story driven. You get a whole bunch of missions. And of course you have like tons of baddies and stuff to paint too. The Kickstarter edition, which is what I have with the Kickstarter models, gives you a lot more character models too and baddies too, and then more expanded missions on top of that. So lots to do. Luckily the missions kind of ease you into the baddies. I don't have to have all the baddies. It's a bit like the Batman game. I don't have to have all the heroes and baddies painted, so I can start painting and then we can work our way forward. As the missions go through and I want to play a mission, I can just paint more. So I'm pretty jazzed to give it a go next week. Also next week, I'm gonna try and give a go to Arc World. I'm not gonna show you what's in here because it's cool new stuff. But I got 2 factions to paint up. I'm gonna give that a try. And yeah, it's a really neat kitchen table skirmish game of like high fantasy. So the models are really characterful. I kind of don't want to spoil them, so I'm not going to show them off until next week when they're painted. But they're super cool. The tropes are really cool, and I love both factions. I was tempted to give one to Owen to paint, but I kind of want to paint both of them, so I'm just going to paint them both and then teach them how to play. And you'll see that Let's Play coming, I think, the week after next. And then over here, I shelled out for the rest of Aeronautica Imperialis. So I have an actual game table to play on now, like a full-size one, 3x3. I have the rulebook now. I've got the cards for Aircraft and Aces for both the Orcs and the Imperials, and I got the assets. And then I bought an extra box of Thunderbolts. I thought I was getting 2, I was getting 4. That's like a whole army, which is bonkers. So I guess I'm going to paint some Thunderbolts too. And then last but not least, some Tele Cavaliers, just to round out my Starks. They were the one thing I didn't have yet. And I'll be painting up those in the near future. I've actually recorded 4 games of Song of Ice and Fire at Sword and Brush, so I won't be playing it for a while. But I wanted to have the box so that next time I do play, I can throw them into my Stark list. So we've got another week, another 9 figures on the books, and we're 600 and change now, 610-ish figures for the year to 886. So moving along, like 300 figures to go. And it's September, end of September, October, November, December. I got 4 months. I'm 2/3 of the way through the year, and I got 4 months to October, November. So I have 3 months. I got 3 months left to try and finish this off. So we'll see. 3 months, it's 100 figures a month. I mean, maybe. Who knows? Maybe I get there. It's less than 300, really. We'll see if I get there. Anyway, we'll see you more on the paint table next week. Till then, I'm Ash. F4 Gaming. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you want to support the channel, of course, like and subscribe and hit the little bell below so you get notifications when I post future content. I do post stuff 7 days a week. If you want to support the channel further, you can, of course, buy a t-shirt through Spreadshirt, buy a measuring gauge or objective markers from Death Ray Designs, or, of course, most importantly, there is Patreon. Patreon is what makes all this possible, keeps the lights on, pays for the studio costs, pays for the equipment, model costs, and everything else, and most importantly, puts food in my kids' bellies and a roof over their heads. Big thanks to everyone, past, future, who supported me. I do this stuff because of you guys, and of course, I will continue doing it as long as I can.